Welcome to the Christie Clash semifinal preview. Coming to you Saturday night. A little late, I know. Actually, for those, you won't see this video in time, but Saturday Night Football is happening with the Jets and the Cowboys. That'll have implications for a couple matchups, including one of the semifinals. I don't know how Vlad drafted two Jets and he's kicking our butts, but hey, that's why he's the first seed. Let's get right to it. We are going to preview first the four semifinals, I should say, of the consolation bracket. These are the top four picks. The winners will battle out next week for the top two picks, and the two non-winners of these matchups will battle it out for the third pick. Starting in order, I'll start with myself. I take on Rough Riders, and as someone in the pool had already texted me this week, I'm the most unlucky bastard of the year that I get scored 20 points on me by Tavon Austin twice in one season. So be it. He got 30 points so far from Martin and Austin. Who knew that Winston would get me 30 points in garbage time, but I lost on my bench, so I still have a full slate. I have good matchups with Floyd versus Philly. Julio's got a bit better one. Greg Olsen should have a good one playing healthy. But him with Peterson, I see he actually did put Snead in, and Hopkins should rebound. For all you know, my Yates throws to Hopkins. I would like to think that Rough Riders will actually gain the edge on me again. Call me modest, but I thought that even before Thursday, and it's an uphill battle for me right now, as it were. So, we'll see, Varun. We'll see how it goes at the end of this. The other quarter or consolation matchup that we have. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. For the semifinals is Peyton the Town Red off of a bye versus New Day Rocks, who's come along with a bit of momentum right now. And I gotta say, based on the matchups, I know Peyton's been a little hurting. He lost Rawls. He's got ODB versus the best defense in the league in Carolina, albeit ODB, for all intents and purposes, is the best wide receiver. I think I'm going to give this one to New Day just based on the matchups. I see McCoy should have a decent day against Washington. Barnage should get some yards versus Seattle. And Alex Smith, I know it's Alex Smith, but it's the Baltimore passing offense or defense, so I think that could be good. I don't know if the ragtag crew of Peyton will overbear, but going into Sunday night, he does have Brown against Philly, so that could rack up some serious points if it's a close matchup. But I'm going to give New Day a second win in a row, second win in about a month and a half, but winning at the right time if he wants to secure good standing for next season. Also in the consolation playoffs, this is a final matchup for these two teams. This will determine the fifth place pick. It is Vice City Mambas versus Markham Broncos. They were the lowest two seeds of the regular season, so all but fitting that they are fighting for the fifth pick here. It has 61% favorite for Vice City as I'm looking at these matchups. You're welcome for Russell Wilson. He's been really killing it. I got to think with him, maybe Golden Tate against New Orleans and Watkins versus Washington. I would like to think he has a bit of the edge. Although Ben Roethlisberger with Wheaton in Denver, that's the key. Is that do they go out and hurt that defense or don't they? But right now with Markham's lineup, I'd like to think my brother has the edge there for the fifth pick. Going on to the championship tournament, we will start with another final matchup for two individuals, in which Loopy Lumberjacks faces Green Bowl Packers. Ironically, this was the consolation final last year, where we just had a gift card on the line. This year, obviously, we've made it more interesting. But they will be fighting for the seventh pick. The winner gets seventh, the loser gets the eighth pick in next year's draft. And right off the bat, GB has already struck it a bit with Levante David, Safarian Jenkins, and Evans both working out with the garbage time with Tampa. But hey, it's fantasy points that count. So I got to think with Cam Newton on his side, I can't still bet against him. He's rolling the dice in the stack with Ted Ginn. I don't really blame him after last week, and the Giants do have a pretty bad pass defense. But this will go to the wire because Loopy has the Detroit versus that New Orleans defense Monday night and Larry Fitzgerald Sunday night. So prime time might be looking pretty good for Loopy there. This is going to go down to the end. I'm glad it's going to extend it till Monday, but I'll give Green Bowl the win very slightly. I think this is going to be the closest matchup of the week, in my opinion. Moving on to the championship brackets. First, we have the first seed X Factor hosting the 6th seed Marco. The comrades going at it, so to speak. Ironically, this really will come down to the Green Bay game at 4:05 tomorrow versus Oakland. We have Rodgers fighting off against Eddie Lacy and Randall Cobb. Breeze goes all the way Monday night for Marco. He has Crabtree also against Green Bay, so there you go. There's 4 players right there in one matchup. That's pretty much the one they're going to watch, and Marco's actually a Green Bay fan, so it's going to be fun how he cheers for him. We saw Gronk come back for X Factor on the bye last week. It didn't matter, but he played well. You know, while I can see this being within 10 points, I am not going to pick the upset, and I'm going to stick with X Factor making it to his 2nd championship final. But I think it could be close depending how the chips fall. Obviously, Rodgers will get the points if he throws it to Cobb or Lacy, but I just think with Freeman coming back, he's got an off week. Miller had a good week. He's playing San Diego. Gronk's there. McFadden should get some touches in about 10 minutes, against the Jets defense, which hasn't looked too great. But really, they have nobody else there. That he is the offense. So I'm going to give X Factor the win and the chance to break the first place curse next week in the final. And the other matchup in the championship final is Pillsbury Throwboys off of his bye, and his first ever playoff appearance. This will be in our pool versus Out of Tolerance off of his first playoff win. Congrats to him. The well-fought battle with Green Bowl last week, as I figured it would be. Came back from behind, and Todd Gurley's already got him a rushing touchdown and some points, so it's a good way to start. I did see on Pillsbury's Facebook today that he freaked out because Brady is listed as questionable with an illness. We know how New England is with their run reports, but it would be kind of ironic now. He has to all of a sudden, with not so deep of a bench, he has to hustle and find a different quarterback. He won't know till tomorrow. I mean, he has Des Bryant in 10 minutes. He has Antonio Brown, even though against is the best defense. And he's got Heath Miller. He's got A.J. Green versus San Fran. Obviously, Dalton's out there, but McCarron did pretty good to Green last week. But I'm going to give the edge, and I'm going to pick the upset here to Out of Tolerance. I think Bortles and Robinson are going to run again now that you're playing Atlanta. Pretty bad defense. Demaryius should do just fine. Delaney Walker's been a top 5 tight end the last 5 weeks. And if Kendrick West gets the full workload as when Spencer were out there in Kansas City, I think Tolerance is going to at least hit 120 and be able to win and face X Factor in the final, which would be a very good final. But we won't get to that when it happens. If not, Pillsbury with the keepers that he was bestowed upon him will have a good run. He's got the top. He's still got Gostkowski and Watt. He's got top guys in position. Lockett. That Seattle offense has been key, but I'm going to pick Out of Tolerance for that one. So there you have it. Those are my picks for this week in the semifinals. Thursday game already happened. The Saturday night game is about to happen by the time you watch this, either later tonight or Sunday morning. Best wishes to everybody, and next week I will be coming to you from Niagara with my brother again for our final playoff preview, Boxing Day special. And actually, I'll give you a little tidbit too. That is when we're watching Star Wars, and we'll even give you our Star Wars recap as well. We'll just kind of mix it all into one kind of fun video for those that are still in and those that are not. So, all the best to everybody, and see you in the finals next week.